So, Ash, how long have you been umpiring for Melbourne Netball?
I've been umpiring with Melbourne Netball for almost a year and a half now.
Were you already badged when you got to us?
No, I wasn't. I was a very new umpire.
So, what was the experience that you had? Like, have you worked at an association before, or?
Yeah, I'd umpired before with an association, but only very briefly.
So, what, less than a year, or?
Yeah, less than a year.
Were you in full control by the time you came to us? Running
No.
a game when you're... Oh, you weren't. So, what was the process that we put you through?
So I was with Dimity, who's an umpire trainer, I guess you could say, and she sort of coached me and gave me a few tips and built me up from there. And yeah, it's been a good process to go through, a learning curve.
And what sort of materials did we get you to do on the website?
I did a few, went through some of the tips and the tricks and the, what would you call it, a skill learning sort of thing.
And you had some meetings as well?
Yeah, some trainee meetings where you'd meet up with you, Claire and Jared, and talk about like what would you do in a certain situation and how would you handle yourself, and you have to like pretty much tells you how to run as an umpire, how to speak as an umpire, what kind of things that you need to look for in a game, and builds up confidence and all those kind of things that an umpire really needs.
So the difference between where you started with us and where you are now, what's happened in the time frame of what I think about 18 months you've been with us?
Yeah, well, I started as a new umpire and now I'm a coordinator.
What's that?
Where I do I umpire and coordinate, which means that I'll be the person who you pay, like you go to and you talk to. It's like the manager of the night, I guess you could say.
At a venue.
At a venue, yeah.
So you're running the staff as well as the clients. Yeah. What, keeping the night watch, really, I guess?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I do. It's very enjoyable.
And what do you then help other umpires do?
So what I do when I'm not umpiring, I'm watching a game, I'll look at the umpires and see how they are performing. Like, are they missing anything? Are they getting around the goal line quickly enough to call a lot of calls? And then you just give them a few tips on what they can improve on for next week.
How do they receive that?
Yeah, they receive it well. It's like constructive criticism, and they take it on board, and it's really good to, it's a good way to communicate with them.
And so now you're in the office. What's happened there?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm new in the administration side of things, and so.
What do you hope to discover with the administration?
Oh.
Obviously, it's an inside job here.
Yes.
There's not many people that get into the office.
Well, actually, being in admin, I've actually learnt a lot more as a coordinator. I know how admin run things now, how they want the paperwork to be done by coordinator and by umpiring staff, and yeah, it's.
Is there a method to our madness?
Oh, definitely.
So it all makes sense.
Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody else that's, having a think about maybe could I umpire, or look, I have umpired and I've never liked it for particular reasons, or I didn't feel supported. What would you say? Why would you work for Melbourne Netball if not, against another association or business of netball?
Well, I think if you're very, very new at umpiring, it's a good way for you to actually learn the rules of netball, and it helped me as a player, and it helps a lot of other people grow as a player and as an umpire. I know one of my friends who's very new, she says playing a game is so much different to umpiring, because when you play a game, you feel a lot of things that umpires may not call. So she's more awake to that now. Like, she knows how players' minds work.
As opposed to an umpire. Because we are looking at bodies, not watching the ball, and there's a huge world according to the bodies, because that's what all the rules really are falling around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So would you welcome any new umpires training that we put under your wing?
Definitely.
You think you've got something you can offer them?
I think so, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
No worries.